Have you been watching with glee how Donald Trump and Elon Musk have used the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, to shake things up in Washington and expose corruption and wasteful spending? Well, guess what? DOGE may soon be coming to California. That's right. And California Democrat politicians already are hatching a plot to stop it. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative representing District 75 in the California State Assembly. I've been watching with great delight Elon Musk, on behalf of Donald Trump, shining a big old spotlight on the wasteful spending in Washington, D.C. that Democrats have engaged in using your taxpayer money. DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is a independent effort. It's sanctioned by the White House. It's set up by the White House. And it is exclusively focused on kicking the tires, auditing federal spending, identifying waste, fraud, and abuse, issuing common sense recommendations on how to shrink the size and scope of the federal government, saving you, the taxpayer, billions in the process, and helping us address the fiscal crisis that our nation faces. Elon Musk has hit the ground running as only he can. This guy is absolutely a wizard when it comes to how to use technology to run investigations, forensic accounting, if you will. And what Elon Musk did from day one is he accessed the federal government's spending databases, the accounts payable systems for every government department. And he has been literally dropping bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. And the revelations are disgusting. They're infuriating. And they expose just how left-wing politicians have hijacked federal taxpayer money to fund their extremist far left-wing policies. That's at the federal level. But I can assure you that's absolutely happening with your state tax dollars here in California. Because it's not like there are any Republicans that are in charge to expose or push back on California Democrats who have a supermajority control of our government. They have the governor's office. They have every statewide constitutional office, attorney general, comptroller, the one who issues the checks, the one who writes the checks, as well as a complete stranglehold, a supermajority in the California State Senate and State Assembly. So you know that whatever bad things are happening in Washington, they were long ago happening in Sacramento with your taxpayer money at the state level. And so now comes the proposal. Can we bring DOGE to California? Well, yes, we can. There are two ways that we can do that. And I'm intimately involved with both avenues for bringing DOGE analysis to expose corruption and wasteful spending here in the state of California. But Democrats are fighting us, and I'll tell you how in just a moment. There are two ways. Number one, we are going to the federal government and pitching Elon Musk and his DOGE advisors on things that they should be auditing here in California. So right out of the gate, we've shopped a number of common sense ideas for them to look at, including an audit of the boondoggle high-speed rail project. We started proposing that all the way back in December and in January. And yes, President Donald Trump announced just a week ago that he had instructed Elon Musk to do an investigation, an audit of the wasteful spending of that boondoggle project. And of course, Democrats are just apoplectic that he's doing this. The second way that we're bringing DOGE to California is that I'm using my state assembly office as an oversight tool. And this is something I'm trying to teach my fellow Republicans in Sacramento how to do. Even though we are the super minority, we still sit on key committees. And as a committee member, you're able to call government departments before your committee and grill them under questioning. It's called oversight, legislative oversight. And when I was selecting my committees, I was very focused on creating this DOGE apparatus within the state legislature. Even as a minority member, we got the committees that we needed to be on in order to affect change. So for example, I'm on the budget committee, which means that every single department will face questioning from my office. And yes, I serve on only one of the subcommittees, but I'm able to attend any subcommittee that any state department testifies before in order to justify their budget. And they all come before the budget committee, and I can grill them under questioning. I also serve on something called the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, JLAC. It's a Senate and Assembly committee that allows me to order audits of state government programs. This is crucial because the auditor is not a politician. They are an independent state actor that can't be fired. And these audits actually do have the potential to just focus on a bipartisan query of what are you doing with our money? Third, I'm the vice chair of the Higher Education Committee, which has oversight of all state colleges and universities. As you know, longtime viewers of this show, this podcast, know that I have said that one of the big ways the left funds their organizations through government are through these woke far left colleges and universities where they fund professors that are extremist, no-show jobs, publish or perish, where they put out propaganda reports and studies and quotes in the media. And so we want to look at where all those higher ed dollars are going and what's going on in our K through 12 system as well. So we are in a unique position. I picked my committees based upon how do we get the ability to question government agencies. Now, I would like your help because I can't do this alone. In fact, we don't have a big enough staff on the legislative side to do the investigations necessary to tee up my questions of these agencies. We don't have the ability to hire independent watchdog journalists or researchers or investigators, private investigators, to kick the tires, to follow the money. And that's why I'm urging you, if you want us to have a DOGE in California, you know that it's not going to be set up by your government. It's got to be set up by you and me working together. So go to the website, reformcalifornia.org. That's reformcalifornia.org. That is our central website for all of the exposés, investigations, and oversight that we're doing through our grassroots movement of Reform California. Chip in a contribution today, please. We cannot power this movement without your financial support. The average contribution is $67 a year. That's about $5 a month. Please do whatever you can do to put fuel in our tank so that we can hire the best and the brightest to go after these state government spending programs. Now, what I've been doing at DOGE California, that's what we're calling my office, DOGE California, is that I'm teeing up questions with investigators, giving me the data ahead of time, and then I just ask the question to get it on record. And so I'm going to share with you 3 clips of how I went after the governor's finance director, the budget director for the entire state of California at the top line level of the budget, exposing what they're doing with our money. But also, I want you to know that the Democrats are now doing a counterattack against Elon Musk. So I'll tell you about the counterattack in just a moment because you've got to help us stop the counterattack out here in California. So here are my lines of question at the budget committee in Sacramento. Try this one on for size. This is the exposing the true budget deficit. And I told the governor's office and the independent legislative analysts, I don't trust your numbers. I think you people are lying to us about the numbers, and I've got the receipts. Frankly, I don't think you have a whole lot of credibility given just basic math. If people back home are sitting around their kitchen table and they look at their income and then they look at their expenses and they realize, oh, I don't know, they're about $7 billion short for the year, no one in their right mind describes that as a balanced budget. And I think that it is This is important because they just testified before the Assembly Budget Committee. The governor's office said, oh, we have a modest surplus. We have a budget a balanced budget. The legislative analyst said the budget is balanced, but that's a lie. We're spending $7.5 billion more in the general fund with their Enron-style accounting numbers than we're taking in. That's a $7.5 billion budget deficit. When you're spending more than you're taking in, it ain't a modest surplus, bitch. It is a massive budget deficit. And the numbers get worse in the out years. $20, $30 billion. And when you true it up and get rid of the accounting gimmicks and Enron-style accounting, you're going to find tens of billions of dollars in budget deficit this year. And so I lectured them by saying, you're not balancing the budget. This is not true. I then moved on to the tax increases that we found in the budget for the payroll tax, which is a tax on job creation in this state. And we went after them for the payroll tax increase, which is $2 billion, while at the same time they're giving their rich Hollywood far left elite friends a $750 million tax credit giveaway, a tax break for the billionaires.
How much are we raising the California payroll tax by because of the unemployment insurance fraud? Are we talking $2 billion this year in payroll taxes? What's the tax hike on employers in the state? I think it's $23 per employee.
$23.
Added cost. Because I believe that increased revenue is presumed in this budget overall when you're looking at special funds.
Look, the budget director doesn't even know the answer.
I'm looking to see if I have that specific amount. We might have to get back to.
I think it's about $2 billion.
It was.
And yet we're giving Hollywood elites a $750 million tax credit. Big entertainment studios get a tax credit, while small business owners are being charged $23 per employee in higher taxes if we adopt this budget. It doesn't seem to bode well for this shaky economy that everyone seems to be worried about that might burst at any time and leave us holding the bag. There was a mention of federal funding.
Okay, so that's just on the tax increases on small businesses crushing job creation, the little guy, while you're protecting your rich Hollywood elites who basically help you with your propaganda and also give you all these campaign contributions. All the Hollywood studios are supporters of Governor Gavin Newsom and the Democrats. So then I went after the kill shot. Illegal immigrant health care. And my office did some digging and we realized that Newsom lied to the public about how much he was going to use of your taxpayer money in the general fund for illegal immigrant health care. It wasn't the $6 billion he claimed. It's much more than that.
It looks like we're dipping into about $7 billion of reserves, if we are to believe your numbers, and I don't believe your numbers. I think we're probably looking at a budget deficit that is northward of $15 to $18 billion if you true up actual expenses and you back out the one-time monies that I know that you guys are shaking the tree on. How much money are we spending in this year's budget on illegal immigrant services?
Here it comes.
Let's just start with healthcare.
Just on healthcare.
The number in the budget said an increase of $6.3 billion, but my numbers suggest that the number is far higher than that. That was added coverage from this last budget cycle, not the total amount just for the healthcare. Do we have an actual number of illegal immigrant healthcare that the state taxpayers are covering in this year's budget?
Guadalupe Manriquez with the California Department of Finance. So in the current year, to cover undocumented individuals and Medi-Cal,
Here it comes.
We're spending $9.5 billion total funds.
So it's not the $6 billion that people continue to talk about in the media. It's $9.5 billion.
It was a Budget Act number. This is a revised number based on the governor's budget updated estimates.
Updated.
So of the $9.5 billion, $8.4 billion is general fund.
$8.4 billion in general funds. So that's, well, if we cut that, at least using your math, we'd have a $1 billion surplus, my friends. We wouldn't have to go into the rainy day.
I was basically pointing out that you get rid of the illegal immigrant health care and you could balance the budget for real. Although still, I think we have to cut more because I don't buy their numbers to begin with. Based upon that revelation, Fox News, other conservative outlets ran all sorts of news stories revealing that it's 9.5 billion and counting. And that number I actually think is on the low side. I think we're talking about 13, 14, 15 billion just for healthcare. And yes, I know that we give other welfare payments out to illegal immigrants, and we are going to get the numbers exposed on that too. Oh, my friends, California DOGE is just getting started. We have a whole lengthy investigatory agenda that we've cooked up. And we're going to be revealing more and more rot, waste, fraud, and abuse each and every week on this channel, on this show, during these hearings. And they can't stop me because I'm a state legislator. They can't bar me from asking these questions. We get the data, we do the research, we can expose the rot. But again, I need your help. Go to the website, reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org, chip in a contribution. Also sign up so that you get our weekly news wrap where we will expose all that we find out from California DOGE. Put in at the bottom of the website at reformcalifornia.org, first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code, and subscribe. It is free, and this way you are given the latest expose information on what's really going on in California news and politics. Now, I mentioned that we have Democrats that are counterattacking. Here it is. Headline from Sacramento Bee. California AG Rob Bonta sues to block Elon Musk's takeover of the federal government. His takeover of the federal government. Again, this is liberal biased media lying to subscribers. I'm telling you, they ought to be sued for consumer fraud. They call themselves a newspaper. They're really nothing more than a propaganda arm of the Democrats. They're suing to block DOGE. What they're claiming is that DOGE is not a real department, that Trump can't just simply set up a group of people to investigate the federal government working out of the White House. Well, first and foremost, he can. Secondly, this has been done numerous times over the past 40 years. In fact, during the Clinton administration, Al Gore said that he was going to do reinventing government. So he set up an outside group funded by taxpayer money, not a real department, just something that reported to the vice president's office, called the National Partnership for Reinventing Government, NPR. Al Gore's reinventing government operation. You may remember it. And they looked through federal spending and offered reforms. By the way, that was unrecognizable. That Democrat Party is unrecognizable today because these people have literally lost their minds. And so there's well-established federal case law allowing Musk to be appointed by Trump to do this work. But let's get to the heart of the question. Bonta is suing to stop Elon Musk from exposing the corruption of the national Democrats with our federal tax dollars. He's suing to stop Elon Musk from doing DOGE-style projects in California, to expose what Bonta is doing and other California Democrat politicians are doing. This is nothing more than a criminal trying to stop the investigators from finding out the truth. Let's be very clear about that. And by the way, the lawsuit is being paid for by that $50 million slush fund that we've been talking about, that I opposed, that Newsom just signed into law. Your state taxpayer money to hire a bunch of government attorneys to sue Trump to block his agenda. This is one of those lawsuits. Remember what they said? Oh, we need the $50 million to protect illegal immigrants, the undocumented, living in fear, living in the shadows. We need the $50 million to protect abortion access. We need $50 million to protect the environment. No, you needed $50 million to cover your own rear ends. It's quite clear what you're doing, because this lawsuit is not about anything but preventing the truth from getting out there. And when the truth is getting out there, I'm telling you, the DOGE revelations have even Democrat voters upset, and independents and Republicans obviously very upset. You can't defend this crap. The Democrats know it, which is why they're trying to stop the revelations. They're trying to stop the investigations. And it's all happening from California. So my friends, we need to double and triple down on DOGE. Not only supporting Elon Musk by giving him ideas on what to do in California to investigate using the federal DOGE, but by creating our own skunk works, our own de facto DOGE in California. So I need your help. I cannot do this alone. We do not have the sort of staff that taxpayer money can fund that Democrats have, that the governor has, that Rob Bonta has. We need it to happen on the grassroots side. And so I need you to go to that website, sign up, and of course, chip in a contribution. I cannot implore you enough. Be part of the California DOGE effort that we're launching, that we've already launched, and that we need your help to put gas in the tank to keep it going. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.